Morning, good morning. Sage Sue back for another video all about aging well and owning our aging in positive, meaningful, and empowering ways. I'm back again to talk about spring forward since we've just really entered this new season of the year. And I think it's a great time. So this will be part 3 of spring forward because I'm definitely still in this early phase of going into kind of the rebirth of the year for me and for hopefully for many of us. Last time I talked about kind of breaking out of our shells and talked about the unique tool that baby chicks are given to break out of that shell. So I hope most of us, at least by now, have at least started this process, if not broken through our shells completely and walked out of that kind of safer cocooning environment. It's hard here in Colorado because we still keep diving back into winter. We're going to have winter again tomorrow with a high like in the 30s and snow. And on those days, I still feel myself pulling back into that egg, that safe place again. And then the warm weather comes back and I'm ready to leap forward, spring forward again. So it's kind of that back and forth process. And that's okay. You know, we're going through a transition, a seasonal transition, and we can let ourselves have a little more time. The thing I want to talk about today, just 2 short things. One is I also shared this a few weeks ago, and this was Mike Drack's kind of version of Maslow's hierarchy for people in retirement with a relaxing phase or being a relaxer, being a grower and a giver. Well, I've been thinking about this the past few weeks as I've talked to more people going through kind of a similar transition time into this so-called thing called retirement. And I got some new ideas for this. So I've created my own version of kind of Maslow's hierarchy for this phase of our lives. And the one I've added, and I've switched some things around too, is putting recover at the bottom. And the reason for this is I look back at all the big transitions I've made, especially from jobs and work, and then again what happened to me last May when my position was eliminated and I decided to dive into this new chapter sooner really than I had planned for. The first thing that came to mind was, oh good, I have time to recover now, because I had had surgery a few months earlier for a herniated disc, and I took that time to really fully physically recover from that surgery. This has also happened at other times the last few years when I went through job change. It's like, wow, I've got time now. And this is not sitting around and just hoping you recover. This is active recovery, you know, putting time and effort into your health, into your physical recovery by getting out and moving and continuing to make progress with that as you get stronger. But I've also run into people and talked to people the last few weeks who I can just tell physically need to recover from the change. They're tired. They haven't been eating right. They haven't been sleeping right. And their bodies, it's taken a big toll on their bodies, what they've gone through. And that often happens when we're really heavy into work or that doing phase of our lives. So I really encourage people, if you're going through this kind of change, to really think about how do you stop and recover first before you start shifting into these higher levels. Yes, relaxation can be part of this, but as I see this next level up, it's more about learning to kind of make that shift from being a human doing, which is what we are through the middle part of our life, to a human being again. Getting more comfortable with finding the things that help us relax, reading, maybe some creative projects, and really taking time to hone in on learning how to be more contented in that state, because that's a really important part of aging well. Then you can go up to, think about the giving, which is often the thing most people jump to first. Okay, where can I volunteer? Where can I give? And there's nothing wrong with that. Giving to your family, maybe helping out with grandchildren or some kind of volunteer role. And then I switched it around, put growing at the top of this, because this is something we can keep doing through all the coming years as long as we're alive, is keep growing. And I love that the word falls outside the lines. Because it really is, there's no boundaries on that. We can grow creatively. We can grow creatively. We can grow spiritually. We can grow through keeping our minds active, taking classes. We can become better human beings, which is one of the big goals, I think, of thriving with age, is learning to be the best human being and person we can be and make that complete as we go through these years leading up to the end of our lives. I'm going to stop there for now because we're already over 5 minutes. I'll come back with another part of this Spring Forward kind of challenge in the coming weeks. I'll come back with that again. Happy Easter if you celebrate it this weekend, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.